nothing changes, nothing changes. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. I know it seems logical to you. It seems like it's the right path to you. But if there's some things in your life, ladies and gentlemen, that are not working out, if you're not getting to those areas of success, right? Again, in your health, in your finances, in your business, in your relationships, in your spiritual, if you're not getting there, then you're doing something that isn't working. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. You operate in the same way every day, every week, every month. You think similar thoughts. They say something along the lines of 80 to 90% of our thoughts are the same thoughts. You live in the same emotional home. You experience the exact same things over and over again, yet you expect life to be different. It's not the way it works, y'all. We got to change some things. We got to change some things. We got to do some things differently. Let me drop that in the chat for you guys, the link to that video. But we got to do some things differently if we want different results. That's the thesis, y'all. The reason you show up to these calls just to hear me say it over and over again. If you change your thinking, you change your life. If you want some things in your life to change, it starts with the way that we think about things, because that then changes your actions, your habits, like who you believe you are, so that you can then put different actions behind who you need to become. Success is uncomfortable. The things that you just heard Steve Harvey say again are things that are reminders, but maybe you needed this reminder on Monday, July 21st. Maybe you needed to hear that again. Success is uncomfortable. The most successful people are comfortable being uncomfortable. They're comfortable being uncomfortable. Life is not meant, nothing good grows in your comfort zone. If we are just seeking to be comfortable, we are seeking to die, right? We're seeking to shrink. We're seeking something where nothing grows. Nothing grows inside of your comfort zone. So everything that we have to do, ladies and gentlemen, is to keep pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone. Keep pushing ourselves into the position where we're doing things that challenge us, that scare us, that right we're uncertain about, that we don't know if it'll play out or pan out the way that we want to. We have to keep putting ourselves in that position so that you can train your mind and train your body on how to get comfortable being uncomfortable. If you don't put yourself in that environment a lot, our brains, your body, you'll naturally seek comfort. Remember, our brains are there to protect us. So your brain will constantly feed you things that will protect you emotionally, protect your nervous system, protect your brain, like physically protect you. Like it puts you in protection, which is a form of comfort. And so we have to actively push ourselves out of this if we want to be able to design the life we don't need a break from. Again, that's why we do this, y'all. Grow the capacity to handle the life that you don't need a break from, to handle the life that you're asking for, to have all your goals and dreams come true, not your current circumstance or your current lot in life or where you are right now. We're not focusing on those things. This is just a season in your life. This is just something else that you're going through, right? That's not where we have our attention. Our attention is up ahead. Our focus is where we're headed. Our focus is the vision. How many times do you need to hear us say you have to write it down? How many times you need to hear us say that your vision needs to be written down? You need to be reading it to yourself every day so it eliminates you from distractions. How many times do you need to hear us say it before you actually do it, before you actually read your vision, before you actually like write it down and you take it seriously and you ingrain it in your mind, and that becomes the thing, your operating system. It becomes how and why you operate. How many times do you need to hear us say that before you do it? It's okay. That's what we're here to do. That's why you hear us repeat the same things over and over again. It's so eventually you get it. But just understand, your vision needs to be written down. You need clarity. You need clarity of where you're going. you, me, us on this call, we're not the average people that if you ask them, hey, what does life look like in 5 years? They're the ones that are like, I don't even look past 30 days. I take it day by day. I have no idea. No, no, no. You're just not clear on what you want. You're just not clear. You've never taken time to sit down and say, I'm clear about this is the life that I want to live. And then through prayer, meditation, right? Sitting with yourself, right? You now get clarity around the goal and you can start putting things in place in order to get you there. All that being said, what what Steve Harvey talked about is you got to take some risks. It's not just going to come to you, ladies and gentlemen, right? The life you're looking for, the life you want, all those things, like it doesn't just come to you, it doesn't just fall on you. Like you have to develop the courage to start taking some risks, to start stepping out of your comfort zone more frequently. That's what's required. That's what's required to design your ideal life. Again, I'm only talking to you if you want to design your ideal life. If you want to get out of this life that you have now, you see greater for yourself, then these are the ways you got to start operating. In the text, 177 Mental Toughness Secrets, again, it just reiterates the same point. It says champions take risks. It says average performers are risk averse. Average performers, the majority of the people you're around in life are risk averse. They've been taught that to make it through life in one, they've been taught that to make it through life in one piece, play it safe, and be thankful they have a roof over their head. Stay below the radar, you won't get hurt, seems to be their worldview. With a mindset rooted in fear and scarcity, they unconsciously set a goal of arriving safely at death. World-class performers work from an abundance-based consciousness rooted in love, which knows no limits or bounds. The pros take risks, not because they are necessarily more courageous, but because they believe they can get back anything they lose. In the minds of champions, resources and money are abundant. As a result of as a result, the fear of loss has very little influence with this group. Champions have always been risk takers because they have come to the understanding that business and life are about learning and growing. Say that again. Champions have always been risk takers because they have come to understand that business and life are about learning and growing. How can you learn and grow when you never step out and try something new and exciting? There's never a lack of resources, only a lack of ideas. Without risk, there can be no progress. Say that again. Without risk, there can be no progress. All of us have so much sand left in, only have so much sand left in the hourglass, and one day our sand will run out. The time to risk is now, and the great ones know it. Calculated risks. Doing things that scare you. Do things that you don't know that you're capable of. Push yourself out of your comfort zone. Let's not just play it safe in life. Let's not just play it safe and arrive safely at death. And then you're on your right in your latter years, in your 80s and 90s, you said, man, I wish I would have. Man, I wish I would have. The what's that saying? Um, regret weighs tons, right? The price of discipline is ounces. So obviously it costs something to be disciplined, but the price of regret weighs tons, right? You can't get that back. So why not risk? Why not take time to push yourself out of your comfort zone now while you have the energy, while you have the sound mind, while you have all of your senses, while you have all of your limbs, while you have time still left in your hourglass. We have to get ourselves in a mindset of challenging ourselves, of pursuing things that scare us, of taking some more risks. Where there's no risk, there's no progress. If you're not willing to try something new, like it says, how can you learn and grow if you never step out and try something new and exciting? Is that your belief? This is why we're going through this. Is your belief that life is about learning and growing and becoming? Is that your belief? Or is your belief that life is about, I don't know, possessions or your status in life or well, I don't, again, you have to identify your belief system. But if your beliefs are that life is about learning and growing, then if that's what life is about, then how do we learn and grow? Well, we learn and grow by doing things that challenge us, that push us out of the comfort zone, that are new, that are exciting. If we do the same things over and over again, we're going to get the same results, which means we're not really learning, which means if we're not growing, we're dying. So that's why it's important for you to take risks in all areas, to do the thing that you don't know if it's going to play out in the way that you want it in all areas. That's how you build the muscle of taking risks. That's how you build the muscle of getting courageous. That's how you build the muscle of pursuing your goals and dreams. It's a muscle. Like you got to pursue it. Most people just haven't pursued that muscle. You haven't built up that muscle. But that's my challenge to you. That's my encouragement to all of you. The reason you're on the calls is so that you can get to your ideal life. There's some things you want. You should want things. You should have a vision in your health life. Like you should. You should have an idea of what your healthiest self looks like. Physically, like what that looks like when you look in the mirror, mentally, emotionally. What does that look like? Like you should have a vision of that. And then you do what's necessary in order to make that vision become a reality. Who must that person be? If you see yourself with six-pack abs and can run 6 miles, well, then what does that type of person eat? How does that type of person move their body? Like then you just recreate that. Sure, it takes time. Sure, it's going to take years. It didn't take 6 months for you to get in this position. It took you 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years to get in this position. So now we're working on going the other direction. I shared this video with you guys maybe a month, maybe 2 months ago of a lady saying these couple secrets of wealthy people. And one of the analogies she gave you was like slowing down the train to move the train in the other direction, right? If your train is all of your habits, all of your thoughts are taking you down a path that's not helping you get to success in any of those areas, in your finances, in your relationships, in your spiritual life, in your health, in your business, like your habits are taking you the other direction. Well, eventually you have to slow the habit train down so that it can go the other way. It's like a train. It doesn't just like flip around and you start going the other way. You actually have to slow the momentum down from it going this way so that then you can start going the other way. That's this process of you reprogramming, of you saying, okay, I realize my habits are taking me this way, my thoughts are taking me this way. So now I'm going to actively change my thoughts. I'm going to actively change how I think about some things. I'm going to actively try something new, be intentional about doing something that's out of my comfort zone. And it's going to help me go start pulling the train the other direction, which is actually the man or woman that I want to be. But without this awareness and without you being willing to take risks, these things don't happen, y'all. These things don't happen. And so that's my encouragement to you this Monday. That's my challenge to you this Monday is figure out some areas that you can start taking some risks, that you know you've been playing it safe, that you know you've been cruising and saying, hey, I'm just going to play it safe until I die, right? Let's just safely end this thing. Let's safely land the plane. For us going after our ideal life, let's not do that. Let's keep taking risks. Let's keep our lives interesting. Let's keep doing something new and exciting. I know your nervous system, you might have been in survival mode for a long time, so it tells you that you're tired. It tells you you just want rest. It tells you you just want to slow down. Like that's just the nervous system being in survival for too long. That's all that is. But on the other side of this, when you say, no, there are things that I want, there are things I want to get to, there are things I want to experience. I'm not the man or woman that I know I should be, right? Then we start doing what's necessary. We start taking the risks to say, you know what? If my finances aren't good right now, well, guess what? I got to get them better. So I got to take some risks to make them better. Because if I keep doing what I've been doing, I'm going to keep having what I have. If I keep thinking about it the same way and keep trying it the same way, guess what? I'm going to keep getting the exact same results and my life is going to turn out exactly the same. I might wish it, I might want it to be different, but my actions and habits say I'm doing the exact same things that got me here. That's where we have to change. That's where we have to shift. That's where we have to make the adjustment. This quote here says, I don't want to find myself in a nursing home someday thinking that all I did was play it safe. I don't think any of us want that. I don't think any of you want that, especially if you're going after your ideal life. I don't think that's the way you want this to end, is to say, I did what I need to do to play it safe. It's not why God put you here, not to play it safe. The action step for today says, learning to be comfortable when taking calculated risk is an acquired skill. The only way to develop it is to begin to take risks. Decide today to take a small risk on something you've been thinking about doing. Decide. It's a decision. Okay. So decide today to take a small risk on something you've been thinking about doing. Feel the fear and do it anyway. If this process is new to you, rest assured you will feel less fear with every risk you take. Again, make a decision to take a small risk. Don't quit your job today, right? Take a small risk. Do something that you know you wanted to do, but you've been thinking about doing, but you know you just haven't put it in. Like that's what you do today. Make the decision. If it scares you, if your heart starts pumping fast, if your palms get sweaty, good. That means you're doing something new and exciting, which will cause you to get different results. If you're not feeling those things on a daily basis, if you're not nervous, if you're not anxious, if your palms aren't sweaty, if you're not excited, if you're not doing that, you're probably not learning and growing as much as you need to. So proud of y'all for sticking on the journey. I love you guys. I want you to win. You deserve to win. Your families deserve to win. Remember, if nobody ever tells you that, I'll always tell you that. People are counting on you to get this information. They're counting on you to take this and build the capacity you need to handle the life that you're asking for. Not everybody gets to the life that they want. Most people just take the life that they have. You're going off to design the life that you deserve, your ideal life. It's going to require you to become different, think differently, and become different so that you can go acquire those things. All right. Go out, push yourself out of your comfort zone today. I'll see you back here on Wednesday. Take care, y'all.